What's up, you guys? Today, we are going to be discussing who can do it better, Neos Kluger or Destiny Hero Dark Angel. Let's get into it. Alright, you guys, so now before we get started, of course, we're going to be using the classic Aster Phoenix with Jaden, because technically this is basically what it is. It's Aster Phoenix's monster versus, Jaden's monster. Who can stop spells the best? Now, we're going to be going in depth with this a little bit more than, normally I would explain it. But first, if you are new to the channel, please destroy that subscribe button, hit that thumbs up button for me, and leave a comment down below. Who do you think does it better? So now, first we're going to be going over resource-wise, okay? So how many cards does it take in order for us to get into this? So first, let's just start off with Destiny Hero Dark Angel, because pretty much everybody knows this one. So of course, we have Destiny Hero Dark Angel in itself. It's in the main deck. Very easy to search for. We have tons of ways to search for it. Stratos, Shadow Mist, Cross Crusader. Tons of ways to get access to it, which is pretty good. But his requirements require at least 3 Destiny Heroes, which we all know. And pretty much it's going to end up being Phoenix Enforcer, a Malicious. Of course, we're going to have in 2 copies. But in order to save space, we already know we need 2 copies of Malicious. And then there's also the Destiny Hero Denier as well. And then, Fusion Destiny is also another way to pretty much get into this. Pretty much Fusion Destiny equals Dark Angel. We all know this. And then, of course, Cross Crusader being an option to search for it as well. But there's really no reason for me to put Stratos in here because, that's obvious. But this is like your main best way to get access to using Destiny Hero Dark Angel. So now let's talk about how we do Neos Kluger. One, of course, we need Neos Kluger himself. The only bad thing about him is he's an extra deck monster. It's going to require us some extra, feats to actually get him out, which is going to also be our Neos, and of course, pretty much the brick Ubel herself or itself. We have access to Neos pretty easily with being able to search for it, but Ubel we don't, which also means we need an extra monster deck from the extra deck, being Infernal Divisor, which I've been trying to explain where I don't like only searching Neos with this card. I'd rather just play like 3 copies of E-Call at that point. But since, this is being able to reveal this to add both of them, pretty easy to get into. And then, of course, we don't really need the Wiseman. It's just here, so I just like showing them off. So we don't actually need the Wiseman, so let's just cut that out. But also, in order for us to actually stop spells, we need a whole other card as well, being Secret Village of the Spellcasters, which, we don't really have any access to searching it. And I did see a comment where they were saying we could use Favorite Hero to be able to get this, but then there's another problem with that as well. Favorite Hero doesn't allow us to just get this card. We have to go to the battle phase to activate that effect to get the field spell, which if we're going first, we can't do that. So there's really no reason to do the Favorite Hero, because if you're trying to break their board, you're cutting this out. You're not keeping the secret villages in there when you're going to be going second, like round 2, you're not going to be going first. So you cut this. So that's the only reason why I say there's no reason to use the Favorite Hero, because it requires the battle phase. So, and then also to even have access to make this, we need the new cards like Infernal Rage and then the Favorite Contact. But of course we could always use these 2 for polymerization, so it's not like we absolutely need to do this, but it's a lot easier to make Neos Kluger with Favorite Contact, considering it's also a trap card. When you have Secret Village of the Spellcasters, most of the time Kluger's not going to be out yet, so you're going to need to use Favorite Contact to actually bring him out onto the field. So obviously who wins the being able to summon Dark Angel pretty much wins that. So there's a point for it. I don't know. This might be a little silly way. I might put like a little point tab on there, but just in case for me to remember. So funny enough, we'll use I don't have a dark one, so that will be its point. So that's already a win for Dark Angel. So being able to be summoned a lot easier is a plus. So that wins, for being easier. But now let's go over the pros and cons with Kluger and Dark Angel. Since we already discussed who's a lot easier, obviously we'll give Dark Angel another one, considering that it takes a lot less cards to actually bring this guy out. And it's a lot easier as well. Pros and cons. Let's actually start with Kluger. The pros with Kluger is when he's out, it doesn't give your opponent a monster on their side of the field. Because obviously you guys know when we use Dark Angel, we're actually giving them access to have a card. So them starting off with a card on their field, you never know what they're playing immediately, so they could easily link this off, tribute it if they have a big monster. So letting them have something is kind of scary. Also the fact that Dark Angel is not immune to Droplet, and since Droplet is becoming a more popular card, people are going to be playing Droplet again soon. Since Cashier is slowly, going away, people are picking up Droplets again. And obviously Droplets has always been good for heroes. So be aware of that. Droplet is not immune to this, but if you have Neos Kluger, right, they can't activate no spells. Obviously with the help of, the Secret Village. But we already know that's how Kluger works when we have Secret Village. So just know anytime I talk about Kluger, just know I'm talking about when we have Secret Village as well. Okay? So that's also the other benefit to him is if he's destroyed, if you are feeling frisky enough, if he's destroyed, he brings out another spellcaster. So that way you have two lines of defense. And what makes the Wiseman part good is because Wiseman can't actually be destroyed by card effects. So if they try to destroy it by a card effect, you're like, cool, dude, can't be destroyed this time. You're going to have to swing at him, and it's going to hurt you to swing at him. So that's also another thing. If he's destroyed, he brings out another one. Once Dark Angel gets tributed, that's it. You know what I'm saying? That's it. But of course, Wiseman's not immune to being tributed either, because if he gets like Kaiju'd, this guy's not coming out. But most of the time, they're going to see this, and like most of the time, you're going to have DPE'd out as well. They're really not going to think about it, and they're just going to go for the prettier card every time. They're like, oh my god, I don't want to deal with DPE. So they hit them every time, and they're just like, okay, why'd you do that? Because I've literally had people where I've had Plasma and DPE, and then they kaiju the DPE. I'm like, you don't want to get rid of the skill drain? The hell is wrong with you? Also, I guess the third pro about him is he's got hell of a defense. Being made with favorite contact, he can't get unicorned. He can't be returned to the extra deck. Also, the fact that, when your opponent swings at him, if they can, they're going to be taking damage, and then it brings out the other guy. So that's just all I can really think about, is just the fact that he's obviously a stronger monster than Dark Angel. So being stronger and then being able to keep another spellcaster out on the field, I'll give him another point for that too. The cons would be obviously needing to see the Secret Village of the spellcasters. That's a huge minus. You're going to have to play 3 copies of Secret Village in order to search for it, because we have no way to search for it. Obviously, he's more complicated to bring out, and it's mostly just the whole Secret Village part. He's not really that hard to get out. Like, I'll be honest, it's pretty damn easy. It's just not seeing this card is what makes it the problem. But also, what you mostly do is, if you don't see this, your second line of defense is like, okay, well, if I don't see Secret Village, then I'm just gonna do my regular plays where I just set up DPE and then have Shining Neos for my backup. Because I think it's kind of silly to play both of these together, because it's just like, okay, I'm here, but you have this guy with this already trying to do that. It's just like you're just trying to really just play too many things to negate spells when not every deck is like super spell heavy right now. Obviously, we know the pros and cons already of Dark Angel. Is he stops your opponent's spells. If you have Rivalry of the Warlords, it's a complete lockdown. They can't link it away. They can only tribute it back face down. And then mostly the bad part is, it gives them a spell. And also, I kind of see this as a bad thing too, is it kind of forces you to put all of your monsters in defense position so they don't, swing and get rid of it. And that's also a thing too, because if they just link it off, our hero monsters are honestly a lot better off in attack position, because we really don't have to worry about things like Lightning Storm, and most people don't really think about using stuff like that. They just want to see Droll and Lockbird, Nibiru, even though Nibiru doesn't really kill us that bad anymore. But anyway, I'll stop doing that thing. It'll mostly just be your guys' opinion on what you think is which one's better. And okay, so pretty much the last thing I'll probably discuss about these two is what decks they are better off against. So obviously, Dark Angel against Kashtira, it's an automatic win. Like, they have a monster, so they can't special their guys. They can't, they have their spells. They can't use their spells. Only, I guess, if they see, enemy controller. But it's an auto win against Kashtira. There's a lot of decks that, it's really good in, but I'm mostly going to try to talk about, like, the meta decks. And then let's go with, so obviously Dark Angel is good against Kashtira. The only reason why Kluger is not good against Kashtira is, one, sure, we can stop them from having the spells, but what about them just going, oh, special Fenrir, effect Fenrir, banish it, and now it's banished and we don't even get Wiseman, and then now they're free to use their spells. So Wiseman is not good against Kashtira. Sword Soul, since Sword Soul was also topped in Worlds, got second place. It really depends, because if you see Dark Angel with Rivalry, oh, that's a win. There's nothing they can do. But also it does give them a monster that they can just be like, because sometimes they don't need to even have their monsters. They could just easily link it off, summon a Tenyi, and if they have the right things, they can just synchro with it, and then that's it. And then Kluger might be, I guess, better just because, it doesn't give them any bodies, and then they just don't have their spells, and they just have to see their monsters to do anything. But I guess Sword Soul, it's kind of hit or miss. So I have to say, you just kind of have to get lucky. So I don't think either one of them can, I guess, say they're better off in that matchup. Let's go with Purely. I feel, honestly, Kluger wins this one, just due to the fact that with Kluger, they can't activate spells at all. Yeah, I say Kluger wins against Purely. They just can't activate their quick play spells at all. So like if they were playing stuff like, enemy controller and all that, they could easily get rid of Dark Angel. And also it gives them a monster at the same time. With this, they get nothing. No spells. I feel like Purely's a pretty spell heavy deck, so that just completely craps on it. So I say Kluger is definitely better for Purely. I don't know if it's an issue everywhere. I haven't dealt with it yet, but Infernoble is a possibly good deck. Kluger automatically wins that one, and here's why. It's a warrior deck. They can easily get rid of this shit. They can easily get rid of this. And it's a level 1, they just summon a body, Isolde. That's it. This, with this, they just get no spells at all. So no equipped spells, no Rhoda. I don't know all the spells they play, but just no access to their equipped spells or anything. They just can't activate no spells. Pretty damn good. But just because this loses just because of the fact that it's a warrior, and that's a warrior deck. So Kluger definitely wins against Infernoble. Vanquish Soul. Now, let's see. Vanquish Soul is very interesting because I guess they don't necessarily go crazy with their spells. I mean, they kind of do. There's Stake Your Soul, there's Small World, and but if you have Dark Angel with Rivalry, oh man, that just puts a crap in their day, because they literally can't do anything, because they would have to. The only warrior they have in their deck is, I think the only warrior is like the main fire guy. I can't remember. Raisin. I think he's the only warrior. And then they would literally have to go into a Link 2 that was a warrior in order to get rid of it. So that's, that kind of puts them at a standstill. But I mean, I guess this with like no completely spells either, they kind of have an even matchup there. But they both kind of need the 2 cards in order to completely crap on it. Dark Angel needs the Rivalry, and Kluger needs the spell Secret Village. So in that matchup, they're both kind of neck and neck. I know there's so many decks. Oh yeah, Dragon Link. Dragon Link. I feel like Dark Angel kind of wins that one. No, but then at the same time, they have a lot of links too. Because, they both kind of need 2 cards in order to do that as well. Like, Dark Angel with Rivalry completely kills that deck as well. But Kluger with Secret Village too, you don't give them a body, they can't activate no spells, so that's no Boot Sector, that's no Quick Launch, there's no Chaos Space. It's pretty good. So I might actually have to give that with Kluger, because that stops a lot of things. Dark Angel you would have to have Rivalry in order to completely turn that off, because they could literally, because they got big monsters, they could probably just tribute this. And also the fact that they play Bestials, you have to remember that too. You could put this in your grave, and then, because it targets itself first, they could just Bestial it away. So I think Kluger wins against Dragon Link for that particular reason. Gosh, I can't really think of any more decks. Let me know down in the comments below, you guys, which one do you think can stop spell cards a bit better? In my opinion, I kind of like Kluger right now. But anyway, guys, be sure to hit that thumbs up button on your way out, and I will see you guys in the next one.